so let's start with infrastructure. These are not news items that most people get super excited about, but they are essential. And most recently, Anderson County got almost $2 million in grants for infrastructure upgrades, and let's run through them real quick. First of all, $500,000 upgrade to replace aging sewer lines and manholes along the upper 5 Mile area. Remind folks where that is and why that works.
5 miles almost runs through the center of Anderson, and it is the backbone, it's the mothership, it's where everything else springs off from. And so we've been rehabilitating that as we could in phases, and we've been primarily doing it with grant money. And thanks to legislative delegation, we've got some more grant money, and we're applying it to that $500,000. That will go a long way in helping us complete our goal of rehabbing that whole sewer line.
And that'll save a lot of money.
And we'll save a whole lot of money because when you have water trickling into those sewer lines, you have to pay for that water to be treated just like you do dirty water.
And then another $500,000 for the 3 bridges and Sealy Road transmission mains. Where is this, and why does it need?
Sealy Road's up in the Powdersville area, and there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done in that area, and we're very blessed to receive these monies to begin work on that area.
Okay, and then
and that's Powdersville Water Company, by the way.
Okay, all right. Then $500,000 to install transfer pump and make upgrades to the Anderson Regional Joint Water System. Tell people what a transfer pump is and why they need.
Well, a transfer pump is literally what it is. Transfers water from here to there, and that was done by Anderson Joint Regional. They got a nice grant. We're very happy for them because they supply the bulk of the water for Anderson, even to Williamston, to other parts of the county. They also supply it to Clemson University, just about everywhere. So anything that they can get helps keep water rates lower.
And the other one was $444,500 for the Mill Village water line replacements in Williamston. Any idea how old those old lines are being replaced?
I would imagine that they've been there since the mill was the first established. A lot of those lines are clay. They disintegrate over time, so that's a real good lick for the town of Williamston, and I know they'll put it to good use.
And where does water sewer capacity rank when a company's looking to locate in Anderson?
Well, if you don't have any water, nobody's coming here, and we're not going to be here. And if you don't have sewer, then you're not going to be a very big company. And you may locate if it's you and Buster and Fred, but when it gets a little bit larger than that, you need to have a sewer line before you can locate. Or if you're going to have a big commercial enterprise, you're going to need sewer. So water and sewer are critical. They're like the blood vessels and the lymph nodes of what you need to have a thriving economy. And you got to have it. If you don't have it, you're not going to have it.
Even though people don't really want to think about it and talk about it.
Nobody wants to think about it. Again, and I've said this, people are sick of it. They ought to put water and sewer lines above ground. Everybody goes, oh, so that's what that's doing.
How about updates on sewer expansion at exits 14 and 11?
We will open bids on exit 14 next week. So we're excited to see where those bids come in. We're hoping we get a low number, and so we can finally get that behind us, get construction started and put that to bed, because exit 14 is ready to blow up in a good way with things I think people in Anderson County will find attractive.
And like you just said, once those updates are done, they'll grow. We expect them to grow very quickly.
Yes.
And speaking of interstate exits, any update on the traffic study around the proposed Bucky's at Liberty Highway exit? I've never heard so many people excited about a truck stop.
I'm talked to every day about it, and as you know, Bucky's gave us $1 million. We gave the $1 million to SCDOT to begin doing those environmental studies and engineering studies to give us a firm estimate that will allow us to pursue other monies. But remembering this, and that Bucky's is actually putting more than $1 million in it. They're going to put millions of dollars in it. So I think that's important, because you don't get too many people coming here and saying, look, we'd like to be here, and we know there's going to be an expense on an interchange that already was outdated and not used. And so here's some money. Let's see if we can't put this money together. You can use our money to match other money, and let's get this done. But we also need it for Sunbrella, because you know there's a 100,000 square foot expansion. What is it, a mile maybe from that intersection?
Out there.
And then you have that housing development that's going right over there. And then you've got another person over there that's going to put a spec building. So, I mean, it was bad before Bucky's came, and it needs to be replaced.
Any wild hair guess about how soon Bucky's could start building out there?
24, 25, at the earliest, because that bridge was going to take a long time. That's what the deal is.
A lot of high traffic in there. Moving on into more economic development, Council just approved new FedEx distribution center in South Carolina, 81 North Evergreen Road, $45 million investment, and at least to start 12 jobs, the salaries look to be north of $25 an hour. How can they run something that big with 12 people?
Well, because it's going to be primarily for distribution, should help us get our packages a lot sooner, and we should get better service. And again, this is what they're starting off with, and so we're excited they're here. We think we're going to see more distribution centers popping up around Anderson, and they're clean, neat, and they pay a lot of tax money.
And from what I understand, they'll be up and running pretty quick.
Very quick.
They start
very quick.
It got Bosch a stone's throw away, and the ever-expanding TTI facility. Is anybody else come up with a name for that area yet? Sort of the International Industrial Anderson area or whatever?
Well, I'm not getting into a fight with the people in Hopewell and Piercetown, so I'm going to leave that just like it is.
Any new announcements from TTI? I lose track. They're building so fast out there.
I talked to them yesterday, and they are still doing R&D and still working on the Moore factory and have more things in the pipeline. And as you know, they gave us the old TTI facility out on 28, which we've already filled up, but they're still renting a portion of it and paying the county market rate rent for that. So in our conversations yesterday, they need to stay here just a little bit longer because their construction is slowed down a little bit, just like everybody else is, because we cannot get stuff.
Any other announcements in that general area coming this year?
There are several that are looking in that area. Probably the biggest thing that you're going to see in that area is going to be housing. I think you're going to see some real interesting houses and concepts coming to that area that aren't currently in Anderson. And I think it could be as many as 3,000, but it's going to be a special project, and that's in its early stages.
That's over the next 5 years or so, or longer?
I'd say maybe 2 years.
Wow, so it's early stages is going to move fast once it.
Yeah.
With that continued industrial growth, I see more traffic, some more big trucks on the road, and I know there's road work going on all over, county work, state work. Is there any particular areas that they're focusing on for the county to repair right now?
Well, I can get you a list. I don't have it on the top of my head, but we just announced.
I asked Holt for a list. So
yeah, we've just announced some road paving and scattered around the county. SCDOT has some large projects, so all of that's finally coming together. And right now is when you pave. You don't pave in January. You don't pave in February. This is the paving season. Just like it's time to grow tomato season, it's paving season.
And have costs gone up for materials like everything else for road materials?
Everything's gone up.
Are they available?
Yeah, they're available. To a degree, things are available.
Is any preliminary figure on the fiscal year 2022-23 budget for road maintenance?
We'll be putting together an amalgamation of money from the federal government, state government, and monies that we have. We voted to pave a road. Council voted to pave a road the other night. So that's one of the top priorities that council has, is paving roads. Plus, people also know that we also build our own bridges. So we have bridges under construction, and we're anxiously looking to see how much money we can get from somebody else other than Anderson County to help pay for that. So as long as they're throwing money away, not away, but throwing it to projects, we have a nice stack of projects that are that big word everybody always use, shovel ready. Well, here we are. So we can be first in line with that.
And speaking of material shortages, I know the new stage at the amphitheaters faced delays because of lack of materials. Any update on that?
Well, this is what we are hoping that's going to happen. We hope that they start on that next week. And we got to be finished by the end of October because we have 2 huge concerts coming September 1st. Celebrate Anderson, and a concert 3 or 4 days before that. But that band shell is going to change the shape and who we get out at that Civic Center and get out at that amphitheater. And I think it's going to be a huge improvement, and I think it's something the people in Anderson County will be proud of. Again, that was a material holdup, or we would already probably have it built. We couldn't get the parts.
That's what I'm a little confused. So there's going to be a temporary stage for Celebrate?
Oh, no, we're looking for the real deal.
But for Celebrate Anderson?
Yes.
So not October. We're looking earlier.
We're looking at it needs to be done by August 25th.
Yeah, and I was going to say.
Are we all going to be sitting out in front of the Civic Center?
Really the biggest concert really since Freedom Weekend aloft, I guess, with Jamie Johnson and Blackberry Smoke. Those are two of the biggest name acts we've had here.
Yeah, but we expect to have more, and we have other ones in the works. And again, it's because
so you said some big ones are planned for October?
It's because the band shell. I mean, we were having to rent a stage, or the promoter was having to rent a stage, anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000, which then
and they weren't even that big.
And they weren't even that big. I'm talking about something where you go somewhere, and you go, oh yeah, I was there.
And right next door, Kidventure 2.0 is looking like a real playground now. I guess materials and weather pushed it from Memorial Day to July. Is that right?
Yes, but there's a slim chance we might get open earlier than July 4th. And again, it just depends on materials.
The splash pad seems to be getting a lot of buzz, and I know it'll be bigger than the one in Carolina Wren Park. I guess since my kids are grown, maybe I've forgotten. Why are these splash pads such a big deal?
Because people love water. People want to be around water. They want to be in water. Water, water, water. I want to go in the splash pad. People love splash pads. And I wish we could put one in every town in Anderson County, and maybe one day we will. But I have a sneaking suspicion that that splash pad is already too small.
Really? Because
of the people that I've talked to and the people that are looking forward to it. And I'm going to bring my kids, and I'm bringing my nursery school there, so.
I think you could stand in the middle of it and then be the inaugural splashed person. Would that be an
I think Miss Rita Davis will be the first person to get splashed.
And close by the memorial wall at the property next to the recycling center is they're putting up plaques now. It's a nice tribute. Remind people how this developed and why it's such a good thing for the county to be involved in.
But, well, we have people, unfortunately, sometimes people don't claim their loved ones' remains, and it may be people who have no loved ones. All kinds of different circumstances, but we cremate those remains, and those cremated remains were in the coroner's office, primarily in Deputy Coroner Don McCowan's office. So Don had a good idea that we need to do something, but we need to do something that is significant and honorable. So we started talking and came up with the idea of a wall, and that wall is going to be up there, and it looks down into a valley, and we're putting everybody's name there. And as soon as we get some more names up there, we're going to have our first ceremony, and we're going to give these people a proper funeral and send-off. So that's what's going on there. I was just there just a little while ago at lunch, and it looks really nice.
Yeah, it really is professional. Are they still getting all the names up? Not quite there yet? Or?
Well, no, we got many more names to go, but we can't put all of the names up at one time, or we'd be waiting until next year to do it. So we're probably going to do like 25%, 25%, and try to have some kind of ceremony every 3 or 4 months to do it upright.
Ongoing ceremonies for those. Yeah.
Not one time, boom, we're gone.
And the ashes can be scattered there in the graveyard right behind it. You got the place already in place for there.
Yes, we do.
And I know we're back across the road getting ready for a couple of really big Dixie League tournaments, which are going to be taking place from folks from multiple states visiting Anderson.
Yep. People will have the state tournament, which is huge, and then we'll have the Dixie Youth World Series, which is huge, so we got that. I mean, out at Civic Center today, we're having smallpox training with DHEC. Just when you thought you were,
just when I thought I had all the questions.
Just when you thought, then now we've got DHEC out doing a training exercise on smallpox.
Okay, so I can mark off my smallpox questions.
You can do that, but I just looked at an article a while ago about monkeypox, and now I guess I'll start worrying about that.
Yeah, let's, okay, well speaking of monkeypox, the Greater Anderson County Fair just left, and there were monkeys, I assume. And my understanding is it was one of the best ones they've had in recent memory, and I'm told you made multiple visits. What made this year's such a success?
Well, I think people just are ready to get outside, and a fair is always dependent on good weather. And according to the fair people, this was the second best fair that we've had. The one right after COVID, I mean, when everybody was screaming to get out, but they were very pleased, we were very pleased, and it was a clean fair, and lots of people enjoyed it. And looking forward to next year, there's some things we need to tweak. Possibly some things we can do to make handicap parking better, move a few things around. So, you know, we learn every year when they come in.
Seems like they'd spread out a little bit more too.
They spread out a little bit more, and I tell you what, those people that they have keeping those grounds clean, they do an awesome job.
And we just touched on it a minute ago, but Celebrate Anderson's less than 100 days away. Anything new or special about this year's event?
We just hope to make it bigger and better. Every year we try to make it bigger and better.
And the track from the Civic Center to AnMed North is, you continue to watch that progress. They're working on that thing, seems like day and night. Are they still looking at the end of summer to be completed? Or?
Yes, but we have a meeting coming up, and off the top of my head on June the 1st, we're going to have people from Clemson University, from town of Pendleton. We've invited people from Anderson University, a whole bunch of people to see if we can really jumpstart, kick off a serious trail system. I mean, people may not remember this, but there was an old railroad called Piedmont Northern, or as people called it, the P&N, or as some people called it, the Poor and Needy. But anyway, one of the lines, almost the right-of-way, extends from almost the Anderson University campus and on up into Anderson all the way to Belton. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to take a look at how we can connect ourselves to Pendleton and to maybe Fants Grove, because Clemson wants those trails to get more use. So if we can come up with an idea, at least jumpstart an idea to get some of these things to actually happen, I think it's going to be a great benefit for Anderson County, for our residents, for people who live here, but I also think it will continue to attract visitors to our town. And, you know, we love people to visit and leave all their money. We really like that, and the more they do that, the better off we are. And we've got some exciting things going on out at Lake Hartwell.
Well, before we leave that, though, a lot of the towns have already started with tracks and trails and
Doodle Trail.
There are people Bubblegum Trail.
Bubblegum Trail in Belton.
Always being used.
All of those, and so if we could link those up some way, we would be way ahead of the curve.
Anderson County's other amphitheater, the Green Pond Landing and Event Center, is also being looked at for some music and plays and stuff this summer. Are there any music concerts planned that you know about?
No music concerts planned as of yet, but we have some people that we are looking at to do that, but that hasn't been firmed up yet. One of the things we want to do is make sure all the bugs and wrinkles are out. And also, again, we have fishing tournaments out there every weekend, so we have to be where we can slip one in. So, but we're looking towards that.
So they will never close Green Pond for a play or
you can't close Green Pond.
And I know Meals on Wheels poker run, now called the Hartwell Lake Charity Run, is set to be at Green Pond early June. It's another first for Green Pond, and Lori Ashley is pretty excited about that.
Well, Meals on Wheels approached us, and we thought it was a great idea because, again, as I say every month, we want Green Pond to be more than just a place where you put your fishing boat in. If we have those plays out there, there's something else. We were out there yesterday. You had a whole bunch of people out there just laying around the beach, you know, getting a suntan, jumping in the water every once in a while. So using that to help Meals on Wheels, that's a wonderful thing to do, and that will also bring a lot of people into Anderson County who will spend a great deal of money because those boats cost more than houses.
And a big July 4th celebration is planned at Green Pond as well, right?
Kind of iffy on that. We may do fireworks, but we don't want to compete with private enterprise on the lake, so we may just hold that in abeyance and look at that later, because I really don't want to compete with people that are in the private industry and private business in Anderson County.
And you mentioned fishing tournaments. They're booked out not just years ahead, not just months ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's something going on all the time, and we were very happy. And we're also very happy that Crescent won the state championship. And we're also very happy, and I don't know if this is widely known, I think they came in third in the nation on a fishing tournament at Lake Lanier. So we've got some people who know how to fish in Anderson County, because we are the bass fishing capital of America.
Any other news out of Green Pond? I know people keep whispering about a conference center eventually being built out there. What would it take to put that in motion? What
it would take is if we didn't have to build a jail. And right now, the council is committed.
Well, the jail's not going to be out there, though.
Jail's not going to be out there. Although I did one time want to share a jail with Oconee County, and what we would do, we'd put it on a big barge, and then we could move it from time to time. But that jail is going to take up a lot of money. But one of the good things about the jail, council has looked at this, and we have some infrastructure payments that are going to be rolling off because we're paid off. So instead of raising taxes to build a jail, we'll be able to apply those monies to the construction of a jail. But we want it to be a jail that has mental health treatment capability, court capability. We want to be able to take federal prisoners, because you make a lot of money from the federal government if you're able to house federal prisoners. Right now, we have no place for young people to go, and we would like to have that, because there's not many places that you can take juveniles. So we'd like to have that facility. Would it make the jail pay for itself? Absolutely not, but would it help greatly on the operating cost? It certainly would. So we're looking into all of that.
And the plan you've got is built for growth, so this won't have to be revisited for a while, right?
Yes.
And the plan is done. I mean, the plan is pretty much ready and in place.
Well, I think
still being fine-tuned.
I think we want to take another look at it because there have been some really major changes in corrections architecture on how you do things and things like that. So we're going to be looking all across the country to see who knows how to do this the best.
Any other projects going on at Hartwell Lake we can talk about? I know it's the season for people to hit the lake.
Well, there are a whole bunch of people on the lake, but we've been talking to some private entities who are looking to buy old private boat landings and things like that and turn them into camping areas. And we're excited about that because we never have enough places for people to camp. And so this would be just another thing that would bring people into Anderson County and help our fishing industry and gas and restaurants and everything else.
Speaking of that, have you heard any updates on the shores at Asbury?
Got a picture of the beach the other day. And so that beach is looking good, and I think they're looking maybe July, if I understand it correctly. So I think that's where we are on that. And
County Council joined the effort to promote safe boating this past week.
Absolutely.
And that is a dramatic increase on boats on the thing. People need to be wearing life jackets and not drink.
Well, you need to do what the Coast Guard Auxiliary told us to do the other night.
How about updates on Mountain View Park, that dock repair replacement? Maybe we need a concrete dock out there.
That's still in process.
Yeah. And remind people where that is and why it's important.
That is the only landing that Anderson County has on Lake Russell. It is at the very bottom of the county geographically, and we have had for years horrible vandalism because it is pretty isolated.
But it's beautiful and quiet.
It is absolutely beautiful, and Lake Russell's beautiful. There are no houses on Lake Russell. So if you want to go for a nice peaceful boat ride or go fishing or something, Lake Russell is really nice.
How about going into late spring and summer? Any other park updates? I know the council identified those needs a couple of years ago. Any updates?
Well, we've Councilman Davis is he's finished up his study, but Councilman Wright's doing one. Brett Sanders is doing one in his district. Ray Graham's doing one in his district. All the council's eventually going to do that. Yep, all of them are doing that. What do you want? I mean, these are driven by people. This is not, well, this is what I think. They're people-driven ideas on what they want for recreation. But I guess the biggest one we're trying to finish right now is our playground at the airport, which will be an aviation-themed playground. And we've had two wonderful people make generous donations. If we had another $100,000 in generous donations, we could get that thing in quick because it's already designed. Where we're going to put it's flat as a pancake. The parking's already there because it's ADA approved. So we just need money to buy that playground equipment that is aviation related, and it's right beside the runway, so you can go out there and play and watch planes come and take off.
And some of the big ones like Dolly Cooper Park had their big event, and they're now ready to launch Salida River Rally.
Yep, Salida River Rally is fixing to come up, and Rhythm on the River was a huge success. Probably had 4,000 or 5,000 people there, so that went well. So we're happy about that. So that's going well.
Are you getting in a kayak for the river rally?
I'm going to get in a kayak, but I'm not going to get in that kayak I got in last year. Because that kayak was made for somebody.
It was a child's kayak.
You must be this tall to ride in that kayak.
It's also festival season. There's been just tons of them around the county. To mention, the county was one of the major sponsors of the reboot of the soiree. Is there any chance the success of getting people downtown might lead to downtown's farmers market at some point?
Well, you know, that's always been my dream to have a downtown farmers market, and I haven't quit thinking about that dream. So I'm wrestling with certain individuals on that.
Well, speaking of a farmer's market as it is, it's already been open for artisans, but it'll be open for fresh fruit and vegetables in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Anything new or different planned for this year's market?
No, but I mean, we have a lot of people who want to go to our market. We don't have enough space to do it, but I still like that idea of putting it on Main Street. I've seen it done. I've been to Marion Square in Charleston when they do that. I know what they do in downtown Greenville, and since we're
Greenwood does it.
Greenwood does it, and so we're trying to bring people downtown, make this a gathering spot. And so, hey, the farmers market has served us well, but there might be time for a revamp.
Is it possible to get it downtown? I mean,
I don't see why not.
And local farming, whether it's full or part-time, is still pretty prevalent in Anderson County. People forget that, right?
people, I mean, we are the perfect mix and blend of manufacturing, which we have proportionally more of than just about anybody else. But we're still heavily dependent on agriculture. We have a thriving agricultural economy in Anderson County, and both seem to coexist quite well.
Now, do you plant a garden or a tomato plant or anything?
I have no sunlight in the yard. The only thing I could grow would be an orchid. Have I had gardens in the past? Yes, I absolutely love it, but I would have to take the plant and chase the sun.
Well, in summer also means schools are out and more people on the roads and the heat and everything, which means there are more accidents. After 9 months, how would you grade the countywide EMS system?
I'm very pleased. I am very pleased with that paramedic system. It has been a smashing success. It's doing better than we even thought it was going to do. We're probably hitting 94% response time under our self-imposed limit of 9 minutes and 50 seconds. We had a meeting this week with the committee at the hospital on how we're doing, because one of the things that we wanted to make sure was good was when we pick you up, and we don't really pick you up, we get there and stabilize you, and the ambulance does the actual carrying. But what can we do on the scene to make sure when you get to the hospital, you're in better shape to be done something else too? And that seems to be working well, and we still have people clamoring to be a paramedic when no place else in South Carolina has that problem, which is a wonderful problem.
Fully staffed and everything?
Yes.
And I don't think I've asked you this question before, but do companies look at things like EMS as a factor when you're recruiting?
I can show you letters that we have received from TTI. I can show you letters we've received from Electrolux. They care very much about the people who work there, and that figures very big into it, and they want to see a professional organization there to help them. But when you talk about what we do for EMS, I mean, there are other things that we do besides that. We go in and look at plants and say, you got problems here, and we've done that. Electrolux, we've done that. Other places, we've done that. With our emergency services division, and they actually go to these companies and say, yep, this is this, this is this, this and this. Hugely active during the coronavirus, but even more so now. People want them to do active shooter training, all of these things. So we spend a whole lot of time trying to make sure that nothing bad happens. And we've got the best people in the world in those positions. They really care. And none of them know what 40-hour week is. They do not, and they don't want to.
What about other economic development announcements? Anything you can talk about this upcoming?
Well, we have some more life science companies looking in our area, since we seem to be increasingly popular for that. And we also have some more, and I'm hoping this comes to fruition in June, but we will become one of the national, if not international, centers on energy. And I'm hoping that comes to fruition, and I think it will. And so there's a lot of exciting things going on along those lines. But, I mean, you know, from the days when we had sewing plants to where we are now, to where we're able to keep Anderson people here, and which I think was always been a goal for the county council, is to, you don't have to leave here just to go find a good job or a challenging job or a job that can take you all the way to the top, or you can start your own business here because this is a good place to do business. And sure, lots of people get out of school and they go away for 4 or 5 years, some 10 years, some 20 years. But they always seem to find their way back to Anderson. Always seem to find their way back.
Is there any update on that unnamed company that was going to bring their research and development to Anderson? Those jobs were in the $40+ per hour.
Still alive, still active, absolutely.
Other than high wages, are there other critical factors y'all look at when you're recruiting new companies?
Yeah, what's your benefit? When high wages, this is what high wages means to county council. I can pay you $100 an hour. If I don't have health insurance for you, or a retirement plan for you, or anything for you like that, yes, they look at every project that they look at, that's taken into consideration. No, it's not just dollar. You better be paying well, at least very well, but what's your insurance package? What's your benefits package? What's your retirement plan? All of that comes into play, because we don't have to take anybody else. Any update on Equinox Mill cleanup? Are they still waiting for the FedEx? We are, our fingers are crossed. That mill project is only viable with tax credits, not tax credits that Anderson County issues, but tax credits that the state issues, which allows those developers to sell those credits, because they're going to have to clean that whole mill up before they can do anything. And we think that they stopped them, but we think we were able, thanks to Senator Gamble and others, to get Equinox in under the old rules. So we're very excited about that, just like we're excited about what could happen with the old Abney mill. And as you know, we just put out a request for proposal on somebody to develop Toxaway. Again, when you look at life sciences proximity to the beautiful wetlands over there in proximity to Anderson University, something special could happen there. And we've selected a firm, M. Peters Group, to do the development of that. They're the same people that are doing that fabulous job up in Newry and that $1 zillion investment in downtown Spartanburg. So they seem to like us, and we certainly like them, so we're excited about that.
If those credits come through, is there, I mean...
They start tomorrow.
Oh, okay, so 5 years from now there may be something there?
If those credits came through, there could be something there in 2 years.
Finally underway on the elephant pen work. Dirt's been moving, progress visible. Do they know when they got the grass planted?
Not soon enough.
But soon.
But soon, but not soon enough. I was out there just a few minutes ago. I didn't see anybody over there.
Has progress stalled on any future plans for that property, or are y'all still in the works? You got a new partner for development? Or?
No, we're just in a pause, but there's some things that are fixing to happen in proximity to where we're sitting that I think it's going to make it a developer want to do what we want to do.
Finally, what about broadband? Where are we at on the broadband?
Well, as you know, they're running Upcountry Fiber is running broadband right now. I mean, they're up in the Pendleton area right now running it. Southern part of the county, Charter's running lines, AT&T's running lines. We have 5 grant applications in right now that we hope to hear for in June. So if we get those, the county has ARPA funds, American Relief Funds that we're going to put in there to match that. This grant program is called the Last Mile. So you're going to go X. Well, here, we'll give you some money to go X, sir. So we're working hard on that because we want everybody to have broadband. Will everybody always have broadband? I don't think so. But then I also think somebody's going to develop some kind of satellite, and all of this will be coming from the stars.
Well, we'll catch up again in June.